I'd like to talk to the TikTok refugees about white supremacy and white privilege. I'm sure you're familiar with the term. The reason why I want to bring it up is because right now, a lot of Chinese people that have experience interacting with Western people, for example, international students or people that go to work, this group of Chinese people are not happy with the fact that all the white people that are getting onto this platform are getting the amount of attention and friendliness and welcomingness, is that a word, from Chinese people. While the Chinese people that have experience interacting with Western people are very much well aware that they never got the same amount of attention and friendliness that Western people are getting right now on this platform. What's happening is this group of Chinese people are unhappy and they're criticizing most Chinese people for being too friendly. They just think it's unfair, and I agree. However, I don't blame the vast majority of Chinese people that are overly welcoming. And the reason being is that probably from the 1990s, all Chinese people, as long as you're going to school, it doesn't matter if you're going to a local school or a private school, English is a compulsory course. So Chinese people, and not only Chinese people, everyone across the world that doesn't speak English is required to learn English as a second language. So given that fact, while you're learning English, you also learn the culture. You watch Hollywood movies. You listen to music that's from the USA. And you're told, not only through the educational system, but also through propaganda, through the news, that the Western world, the developed countries, are what Chinese people should be looking forward to line up to. And these developed countries can involve any place from Europe, but I was taught, and I heard, and I remember people constantly talking about the United States. And it was a big deal. So now that the fact that all the TikTok refugees are also from the United States, most Chinese people are like, oh my god, this is actually the first time that I can interact with these mythical beasts that I've been taught and heard about since I was like 3 years old. And since this has been integrated so deeply into the social norm in China for everyone, now that we have a platform like this to interact together on such an intimate scale, I do think it is very important for people that are in the United States to at least know this social phenomenon. You should be aware that this white supremacy, white privilege definitely exists. Now, when you're interacting with Chinese people that are very friendly, very welcoming, be mindful and be gentle. Do not abuse the power or advantage that you have in this social phenomenon. Give the same amount of kindness that is given towards you by the Chinese, and please be humble and respectful. Some very true examples of white supremacy that you can see in China would be, if you're a teacher, a not very successful teacher from the United States flies over to China, you can find a job. Even if you're not a teacher from the United States, you can find a job of being a teacher here in China, just because some Chinese schools want a foreign face, and they're paid a very high salary compared to Chinese people. So that's one thing I can think of. The other thing that I've experienced before, when my white friends came from abroad to China, I took them to Yuanmingyuan, and there were Chinese people lining up to take pictures with my friends, just like they're celebrities. And they were like, this is ridiculous, you know? So that's why I think the reason behind the white supremacy in China should be explained to you guys, and that
小红书